Good morning po, Sir
Yes,
Buddy,
sir.
and to your team. So basically, welcome to our lab. This is a Grain Quality Nutrition Center. So one of the key themes that we are focusing here is yung nutrition ng rice. So one specific project that we are dealing with is yung diabetic-friendly low glycemic index. Yes. So ano ba yung concern natin? Kasi right now, diabetes is increasing. Dati sa ano lang to, sa US, or sa mga Western countries. Now, it is shifting to Asia. And even yung Philippines has growing cases of diabetes. Maybe you can recount sa mga kamag-anak nyo, di ba ngayon, mga diabetic, di ba? And they're getting younger and younger. So, problem dun is because of the glycemic index. So, ito yung one key parameters we are looking at in terms of the diabetes management. So it's because yung continuous consumption ng high glycemic index food, it actually leads to diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular disease. Pero let us define muna yung glycemic index. So yung glycemic index, ito yung response ng blood sugar mo or yung postprandial blood glucose level response dun sa kinakain natin. So for example, kumain ka ng donut, after some time, magkakaroon ka ng sugar rush. Kasi most of the donut, they are converted to the free sugar components. So, kaya nag-spike yung blood sugar natin. So, yung mga high GI food na yan, okay sila once in a while, kasi may mga cravings tayo. Pero eventually, kapag araw-araw tayong kumakain yan, it actually leads to these diseases. And one of the problem kasi is yung white rice is considered as high glycemic index food. It means, kapag kumain ka ng white rice, most of it, nako-convert lang siya sa free sugars. So, kahit hindi siya matamis, pero still, nako-convert siya sa free sugar. So, ganun din yung similar mechanism pag kumain ka ng donut or ng candy. Ganun din yung nangyayari. Nag-spike din yung blood sugar natin. So, ang goal namin sa ERI is to address diabetes by lowering the GI of rice. Kasi most are high GI talaga sa market to become low GI.
Okay.
Gusto mo bang matuto ng agribusiness, crops, livestock and poultry, aquaculture, at ma-inspire sa mga success stories? Agribusiness, how it works! As a YouTube channel, Agribusiness features entrepreneurs, farmers, organizations, OFWs, investors. However, beyond our usual content and official endorsements, Agribusiness does not engage in other business dealings with them. While our viewers and featured individuals and entities may choose to pursue business deals with each other on their own, we encourage them to be cautious in doing so. This September, join us for a day of 6 panel discussions, exhibits, business socials, and dinner. Learn from agriculture's top experts and explore the ideal farming venture for you at Agribusiness Connect, happening at Elements at Centris, September 28, 2025. Doors open at 12 noon. Don't forget to register through the link in the video description box or simply message us on Agribusiness Facebook page. You may also text us at 0917-827-7770. Strictly no walk-ins. See you in Agribusiness Connect. Agribusiness Connect. Agriculture in full view.
So it means kapag kumain ka ng rice ngayon, dapat hindi siya mag-spike ng blood sugar mo.
Pwedeng kumain ng maraming rice na.
Hindi naman para syempre may ano pa rin, may sobra masama pa din. I mean, 'di ba?
At least pwede mo nang i-enjoy kasi dati pinagbabawal sa iyo.
Yes, dati pinagbawal. 'Di ba pag for example, punta ka sa doktor, ang sasabihin ng doktor pag may diabetes ka, tigilan mo yung rice, i-cut mo yan, di ba? Pero this time, we can offer yung mga diabetic patient na kumain ng rice na kung ano yung kinakain nila, 1 cup ganyan, na na-enjoy nila, na hindi mag-spike yung blood sugar nila. So, paano ba namin to ginawa? So, basically, yung ERI, meron silang 132,000 rice accessions.
Yes, boss.
So, dati, may mga rice doon na nandun lang sila, nakastore lang sila sa cold freezer. And we have this initiative na parang magmamine kami, parang ka nagmamine, hanapin mo yung
inisa-isa niyo.
Yes, talagang ni-screen namin yung large population ng rice. And we identified na may mga varieties pala na low GI talaga. Na nandun characteristic nila yun. So, ayun. Kaya ngayon, tinest namin siya sa human. So, ito yung confirmation namin. via sensors. So we verified na talagang low GI siya. Pero of course, we want to screen some more rice varieties, and hindi namin magagawa yun kung every day pupunta yung mga tao dito, titikman lahat ng rice. 132,000 yung rice dyan, papakain mo sa tao.
Okay.
So that's why we have a proxy method. Ito yung robot, which you will see later inside the lab. So ito yung aming NutraScan gut analyzer, and minimimic na yung digestion ng rice sa katawan natin. So ngayon, pwede mo na siyang pakainin ng mas maraming rice. Possibility of screening larger population of rice varieties. So here, I think ito na yung head scientist namin, Dr. Nesse, who will explain yung mechanisms and how things are.
Very nice to meet you. We have really been looking into how we can offer tangible solutions through diet. And of course, rice being really a starchy staple, this could be one of the interventions which we thought we should really bring it to the table. So on one hand, when we looked into the existing varieties, most of the high-yielding varieties, they were high in its glycemic index, ranging between 70 to around 94. But the intervention, what we need is 55 and below to have a glycemic index. So that has really been the target, and so we have looked into how we can bring state-of-the-art technology to develop really a low glycemic index rice varieties. And that has been our major effort in the last 10 years, where we have looked into our gene bank. So we have biggest collection of around 133,000 accessions across the globe. So we have designed a very specialized phenotyping methodology to estimate the glycemic index. Generally, it's a very cumbersome way of measuring the glycemic index in humans. So we have to feed the rice to the human subjects. We have to collect the blood samples at every 30 minutes over a 2-hour period. And then we have to estimate glucose area under curve to come back with glycemic index estimation. And each of that estimation can cost $5,000, which is very, very expensive and very low throughput. So that is where we have now looked into setting up a technology for phenotyping, which mimics in vivo situation what I briefly mentioned, feeding to human subjects and collecting blood samples. So as an alternative to that, in vitro glycemic index methodology has been set up. Later on, you would have the possibility to document how we do and what we do. So we did use those phenotyping methodology to screen the gene bank lines of diversity collection what we have. And just to give you an impression that after screening several thousands of such accessions, we identified 3 low GI accessions. Just three. With 55 and below. So that has really been the starting point where we have invested a lot of time to screen diversity and identify where is that potential diversity for low GI. So that is one major effort what we have been placing.
Okay, so kanina kasama natin, kausap natin si Doc Nessie. Ang surname ni Doc Nessie, sir?
Srinivasulu.
Ayun, Srinivasulu. Ayan, siya po yung head ng itong department.
Ng lab namin.
Grain Quality and Nutrition. At ngayon naman, kasama natin si Doc Ruel.
Tiyaozan po.
Tiyaozan. Ayan, kasama natin si Doc Ruel kasi ipapakita na niya yung discussion natin kanina, ano yung actual.
Yes.
No, Doc?
Yes.
Sige, Doc.
Ready na po kayo.
Sige, Doc. Puntahan natin. Ayan. So, introduce natin si Sir
Noel po.
Sir Noel. Ayan. Sige, Doc. Ano bang nangyayari dito?
So, ayan. So, kanina na-explain ko na meron kaming ways to measure yung glycemic index. So, syempre, sobrang dami ng bigas dito sa Erie. Hindi naman kakayanin na lahat ng tao pupunta para kainin yung 132,000 rice accessions. So, ngayon, nag-develop kami ng isang method na proxy siya dun sa in vivo or yung human clinical trials, pero mataas yung accuracy niya in predicting yung glycemic index ng rice. So ito yung tinatawag naming artificial gut analyzer. Ito yung NutraScan, so dalawa yung meron kami. So basically here, ang ginagawa namin is papakainin namin siya ng rice. So ito yung magsisilbing mouth niya. So, ito yung magsisilbing mouth niya.
Okay.
So, kaya niya mag-run ng around more than 20 samples in a day. Nang sabay-sabay. Na hindi kayang gawin ng tao, di ba? So, dahil dito, mapapabilis namin yung pag-screen ng mga gene bank materials at ma-identify yung kanilang glycemic index.
So ito yung ilang thousands of
132,000
accessions, inisa-isa niyo diyan, and then ito yung sinasabi niyo na nakakita lang kayo ng
ilang accessions lang ng rice na low GI, na sobrang konti nila ngayon.
Oh, I see.
So ngayon, itong colleague ko na si Noel, isa siyang biochemist. So explain niya, paano ba nangyayari, paano namimimik nitong robot na to yung ating digestive system.
Okay, Sir Noel.
Hello, good morning. So dito, we prepare yung mga enzymes natin. So we have here yung ating digestive enzymes na oral phase, yung amylase natin, yung pepsin for our gastric phase, and then we also have our enzyme C, yung ating amyloglucosidase para sa ating intestinal enzyme. Then we also have our HCl for our stomach acid. And then sodium hydroxide yung ginagamit natin to neutralize yung HCl to optimize yung condition for intestinal digestion. So yung machine automatically will dispense yung enzymes sequentially kung paano siya nangyayari sa ating sa human digestion. And then sa at 2 different time points, kukuha tayo ng sample dito sa ating...
Sir, so ibig sabihin parang yan na yung loob ng tiyan natin?
Opo, bali dito po siya mangyayari po. Siya dito lang i-contain, tapos dito siya ilalagay. So ito yung sample natin, bali parang ito na yung food natin kung paano siya sa loob ng ating katawan. So, una yung amylase, and then lalagyan siya ng HCl, so parang nasa stomach na siya. And then kasabay nun maglalagay siya ng pepsin, yun yung enzyme sa ating stomach. Tapos sunod yung sodium hydroxide, so to neutralize yung food before it enters our small intestine. And then sa kanya i-release yung amyloglucosidase. Ayun. So pagdating sa after ng sodium hydroxide, magko-collect tayo ng first aliquot samples natin. And then second is 30 minutes after maglagay ng ating amyloglucosidase. So 30 minutes digestion sa ating intestine, yun yung ating i-collect na sample, and then yun yung ating i-analyze using our GoPod reagent kit, and then from that we can determine the glucose content at 2 different time points. Kasi yun na yung magiging basis natin for deriving yung ating glycemic index value.
Wow.
So kung nagtataka kayo, gaano ba ka-accurate to?
Yes,
so tinignan namin yung accuracy nitong mga robot na to sa tao at nakita namin na 96 to 97% yung kanyang similarity or yung accuracy niya. So ngayon ito, pwede na natin siya talagang gamitin para screen. Kunyari may mga bagong bigas na lalabas ngayon sa Pilipinas or may ibang bansa na meron silang curiosity kung low GI ba yung rice nila. So pwede na namin to gamitin ngayon as a proxy method para ma-identify yung low GI properties ng mga bigas.
Wow. Ongoing ba ngayon?
Yes, ongoing po
Ongoing
yung,
siya, okay.
So ayan, actually ongoing po yung analysis namin ngayon.
So bali timed lang po kasi siya, so hintayin lang natin yung may
Yes.
specific time kasi kung kailan maglalagay ng mga reagents natin.
I see. Sige,
So yung naririnig nyo ngayon na parang tunog, yan yung grinding, di ba? Parang ngumunguya, di ba? Parang minimimik niya yung pagnguya nung bibig natin. So ayan.
Wow. So anong stage na po tayo at this
Isang
point?
stage na tayo.
Bali ngayon po nasa gastric na siya. So meron na siyang hydrochloric acid kanina pa. And then at 45 minutes and 35, mag-start po ako maglagay ng sodium hydroxide. So ito na yung stage kung saan papunta na sa small intestine yung ating pagkain for digestion. So may sinusunod lang na interval for each sample para pantay-pantay yung time na expose sila dun sa mga reagents natin. So mag-start siya ng 45, 35, so sodium hydroxide yung ilalagay. So sa ngayon, minamanual muna namin yung pag-dispense ng sodium hydroxide kasi magkakaroon lang ng konting problem dun sa ating pag-dispense using the machine.
So maglalagay pa tayo ngayon?
Apa.
Yan,
Ayan.
maglalagay na po siya.
Okay. Grabe. Grabe yung... Sinong nag-iisip nitong robot?
So, itong robot na to actually, una tong parang na-establish sa Australia. Kasi curious din sila about low GI property. Pero kami na po yung nag-optimize ng method, in-optimize namin yung time points, yung enzymes, lahat po yan galing sa IRI, yung optimization. So, yung ano lang, yung parang body, ganyan, yung design ng robot, galing po siyang Australia. Pero kami na po lahat nag-optimize ng mga parameters. So, siguro, share ko na lang din yung background, no?
Yes, Doc.
Yung in vivo kasi, ang ano yan, para i-test mo ang isang rice sa isang tao, siguro mga 150,000 at least. Para malaman mo yung GI, kailangan mo bayaran, for example, yung external companies para i-identify yung GI. So, 150,000 pesos per sample. So, sobrang mahal, di ba? Tapos kung sobrang dami mong rice, papatest mo sa kanila, it will incur parang several money. Pero here, pinababa namin yung cost na sobrang baba. So, right now, even less than 5,000 pesos, you can test your rice samples for low GI property. So, yun yung beauty nitong robot na to. So, hindi lang siya time efficient, na mas marami kang rice na mapaprocess in a day, but also yung cost na reduce namin significantly.
So itong mga tinetest natin ngayon, coming from the accessions pa rin to or bagong ano na to, rice?
So ito po ay mga ano na po namin, mga dine-develop na po naming rice varieties.
Dine-develop na to.
Yes. So lagi po namin kino-confirm kung low GI ba siya in different years and in different seasons. So para pag dineploy po namin siya, for example, sa Philippines, so masusure kami na kapag tinanim to sa different years and
Yun
different
talaga,
seasons, low GI pa rin po siya.
Kasi nga open-pollinated siya.
Yes. So kaya kailangan namin ma-make sure na talaga ma-stable yung low GI properties. So ilang years po namin yung tinrabaho.
Grabe, ilang years to, Doc?
So actually nag-start po tong initiative na to way back parang 2015 pa. Tapos 2017 nalaman namin yung genes. Then etong 2024 lang po namin talaga na finalize lahat ng yung science talaga at na-publish po namin siya sa isang prestigious journal sa galing sa US. So kaya po mas nag-boom yung low GI rice na research namin.
Doc, if you don't mind, yung few na accession na na-identify nyo na low glycemic, saan nanggaling yung mga accession na yan? So
ayun, meron pong yung pinaka-pinanggalingan po talaga ng low GI na yun po yung ginamit namin as a starting material. Yun po yung tinatawag na IR36AE. So, yun po ay isang mutant. So, makikita nyo rin po mamaya sa field. Although, nag-harvest na ng iba. Pero ito po yung isang mutant na low GI talaga siya. Pero ang problema, sobrang tigas po niya. Tapos, hindi lang po siya matigas, mababa pa yung yield.
Yung yield.
So, ngayon, wala nang ginawa for that. Na-discover na actually, parang as early as 2000s pa. Tapos, wala nang ginawa doon. Kasi nga, hindi naman makain kasi sobrang tigas, tapos hindi naman matanim kasi sobrang baba ng yield. So nagkaroon po kami ng idea na why not cross this IR36AE sa isang premium rice variety. So ngayon, na pinagsama namin yon, na-maintain niya yung low GI, pero tumaas yung yield at naging palatable.
So mutant, so during the process of breeding, basta lumabas lang siya na unexpected?
Hindi po siya para unexpected kasi alam na po namin na yung gene na responsible doon sa lowering the GI can be inherent through crosses and kapag nagkaroon ng more generations. So, syempre, sobrang dami pong halaman na in-screen namin, thousands po talaga. After ng crossing, thousands of samples. Then, we carry it until F6, F7, hanggang ilang generations ng rice. Hanggang na-pinpoint po talaga namin yung rice samples na low yung GI, acceptable yung texture, tapos mataas din po yung yield. So, yun po yung naging development. Ilang samples na napaprocess natin in a day?
In a day po, sa isang machine po, bali up to 24.
Yes, up to 24. So kung dalawa, 48 samples yung napaprocess namin in a day. And okay naman po siya, pero gusto pa namin mas madami mas mabilis. So kaya may AI na po kami. So ngayon, kaya na po namin mag-process ng mas mabilis in a shorter span of time. So yun po, kapag may new variety na kaya gusto namin gawing low GI, for example, Dinorado, gusto natin gawing low GI. So i-cross natin yan dun sa IR36AE or dun sa mutant na may low GI properties para ma-acquire niya, ma-inherent niya yung low GI property. Tapos i-screen po namin through AI and also through this para ma-sure na low GI po yung naging na-produce na rice samples.
Nakukuha nyo kasi nga pinpointed yung gene.
Yes, pinpoint po namin yung gene. Yun po talaga pinaka-importante kasi kapag alam nyo na po yung gene, kaya nyo na po
siya na yung ilalagay mo
Yes.
sa breeding.
Ano na po siya, so po yung imo-monitor nyo. So, yun lang po, just to clarify, hindi po siya GMO, hindi po siya
Yes.
gene-edited, pero through conventional, ano po. Parang for example, sa tao lang po, kunyari, mapusang blue yung eyes, as isang ganito yung eyes. So, minsan po pag nag-breeds, nagsama po sila na i-inherent yung trait, ganun din po sa halaman. So, minomonitor lang po namin yung gene across generations. So, pipiliin po namin yung
Selection pa rin.
selection pa rin po.
May papakita pa tayo dito before tayo
Yes.
mag-move sa
So yung next po natin is so gusto po natin, ito po effective na po siya sa pag-identify ng GI ng rice.
Okay.
Gusto pa po namin mapabilis
Okay.
at gusto pa namin mapamura.
Okay.
So ngayon gumamit na po kami ng AI, ng artificial
Wow,
intelligence.
AI na.
Yes. So ngayon kaya na naming mas maraming samples, mas mura, saka mas mabilis. So ito po yung ipe-present ng colleague ko.
Ay, sige po.
And I would like to introduce Mr. Ruben. So he's a biochemist, and we have been making use of those phenotyping methodologies. Plus also he developed artificial intelligence tools to model the glycemic index in rice, and he developed a relatively semi-throughput methodology where using certain diagnostic SNPs of a target gene plus the composition of starch, he is able to now set up a method where we can increase the throughput. So going back, the in vivo GI estimation in humans, which cost $5,000, the in vivo GI situation of phenotyping, it cost around $100, and now since we have discovered the genes and we have developed those modeling tools, just with $10 we would be able to phenotype for the glycemic index. So these are the important science and technology breakthroughs what we need to have in order to take up the breeding program. So particularly Ruben has been involved a bit more into that machine learning methodology, and then we have other colleagues who have really been developing biochemistry based methods to estimate the glycemic index values. So this is a known knowledge what IRRI has created in order to take up a breeding program where we can bring such a low GI trait into high yielding background. So that's more on the technology innovation. And moving forward, what we can do is we can take any popular variety from a given country. We can convert that from high GI into low GI with acceptable texture.
Okay.
So I think this is a breakthrough of knowledge what we have created, where now we can systematically take up the pre-breeding efforts and use those genes as well as the phenotyping methodologies such as machine learning tools, and we can screen a lot of pre-breeding materials and identify low GI traits in high yielding background. So I think that's an opportunity for us to move forward and contribute to multiple countries. So yeah, I think that's a bit of the background about our journey of how we used really the diversity, discovered the genes and deployed machine learning tools to phenotype for the glycemic index.
So the low glycemic index rice is already on trial, or is it already introduced to the market?
Right. So what Erie is doing at the moment is, so we have developed 2 generations of materials in high yielding background. One we call it as a low GI with acceptable texture. And the second one is basically we call it as a ultra low GI. So we were able to even further bring down the glycemic index to 45 and below. And there again we are trying really to make sure that textural preferences are acceptable. So that's the second generation of ultra low GI lines also being currently developed. So these are already in high yielding background with early maturity, medium maturity and late maturity, and also we are trying to bring that into different size and shape, because rice we are very specific
for each
country
culture.
and each culture, right?
Yes.
So for instance in Philippines, if you develop a low GI line, it should be soft textured and it should be in the long grain background. And also now there is a bit more of a demand that such low GI triads we have to have in the early and medium maturity background. So instead of maturing the lines around 140 days, farmers they want varieties to be matured within 100 to 120 days. So we are now making an attempt to really breed such varieties of having low GI with good texture in high yielding background, with different size and shape as well as with different maturity background. So all of that is a kind of a prior knowledge we applied, and we are now taking up the breeding programs and developing those varieties. So that's a core business of Erie, of repositioning those innovation and technologies. And now we are at a stage that some of these varieties we need to work with national governments. For instance, Erie has now gifted this ultra low GI during 2013 during the International Rice Congress in Philippines.
In PICC.
Yes, in PICC, and President Marcos has actually inaugurated and launched and showed an interest on these technologies. And this year, together with Department of Agriculture, we have taken up basically the trials of such low GI in 2 provinces in the region 2. In the region 2. So maybe that part I would really like to invite my colleague to briefly explain to you what Erie is doing in conjunction with Department of Agriculture as well as with PhilRice.
Okay, so right now we are actually doing demonstration trials in Isabela and Cagayan. So we have around 23.6 hectares in Isabela, where we planted the low GI variety and being harvested right now. While in Cagayan, yes, ongoing. Then in Cagayan we have around 17 hectares. Well, we initially planned 23.5 hectares, but they were able to do 17 hectares in total. And yeah, right now it's still planted, and the harvest is not ongoing yet because it was planted late. So we have contacted around 23 farmers each in each provinces in conjunction with the RFO and DA as well as PhilRice. So right now we are testing for its GI or glycemic index. So we have collected some samples there and trying to do some quality assurance and traceability analysis.
Kasama pa rin natin si Doc Roel and si Sir RJ. Sir, pasukin natin. Ano naman ang ipapakita natin dito?
Sige po.
Okay.
So, actually, this is very scientific lab kasi ina-identify namin dito yung yung amount ng amylose at amylopectin. Pero ano muna yung amylose at amylopectin?
Ano yun, Doc? Ay, sir.
Kasi yung rice ay gawa siya sa starch. So, mostly made up of starch yon. Yung amylose at amylopectin, yun yung iba't ibang itsura ng starch. So, may dalawang klase ng starch, yung amylose tsaka amylopectin.
Okay.
Ngayon, itong amylose at amylopectin ito, related to sa glycemic index ng rice. So, yung amylose, siya yung straight na branches. Pwede tayo magpakita dito. Ito. Ito yung amylose. Ito yung amylopectin. So, yung amylose, mas matagal siyang i-digest. Kasi straight nga siya. Or yung mga enzyme ng katawan natin, matagal mag-action dyan compare sa amylopectin. So, basically, based on that, ma-realize natin na yung pag mas mataas yung amylose, mababa yung
mas
GI.
mababa.
Pag mas mababa yung pag mas mataas yung amylopectin, mas mataas yung GI. So ratio yun between amylose and amylopectin. Ngayon, paano namin ginagamit tong data na to? Kina-capture namin yan using this machine. Itong size exclusion chromatography.
Ito, sir.
Yan. This machine.
Ito mismo.
Yes. So, ang ginagawa ng machine na yan, since ang rice ay clump of starch, so pinaghiwa-hiwalay lang namin. Ganun lang siya. Paghiwa-hiwalayin lang na itong machine based sa size niya, and then malalaman namin kung ilan yung amount ng amylose at amylopectin. Then, we get the ratio, tapos yung ratio na yun yung magde-determine or yun yung related doon sa glycemic index ng rice. Then we use the data sa machine learning models namin to predict the glycemic index. So kanina, I think na doon sa interview with Dr. Nese, sabi niya 'di ba na kapag ka nagpa-in vivo tayo, nagpa-test tayo sa labas, worth $5,000. So we were able to bring it down gamit yung in vitro GI namin, yung doon sa laboratory.
At sa akin, sa inyo daw.
Yes, then we were able to even bring it down to, sabi niya, around $10 dahil we're just using this machine.
Wow.
So, ginagamit lang namin yung data to predict the glycemic index. So, ito yung aming machine learning model. Basically, this is the workflow. So, we start with the amylose content data and protein content data. Sinasamahan namin ng genetic data, yung genes related to protein and amylose as input dun sa machine learning model. And then, tinrain namin yung machine learning model using the data. Tapos, ang output niya would be malalaman mo kung ang isang rice variety ay high glycemic index, low glycemic index, or ultra low glycemic index. Of course, with an accuracy lang ng 74.47%. Well, it's still high, pero dinedevelop pa namin further yung model namin. So, ano bang importance nito? Ang importance nito is we can screen a lot of varieties. So, ginamit namin tong machine learning model na to para malaman din namin kung ano yung mga varieties na low glycemic index without even using without doing in vivo GI, yung nasa labas at yung in vitro GI na dito sa in-house namin. So we just have to do the analysis, the phenotyping analysis and genotyping. Then we can know if a certain variety is high, low, or ultra low GI.
So, yung ginagawa nyo, Doc, pwedeng i-short, hindi nila gawin yun, diretso dito.
Diretso dito, yes. So, katulad nga ng sinabi ni Ruben, kapag sobrang dami ka ng sample, thousands of samples, so, medyo matagal yun kung in vitro. Mas matagal kung in vivo or kapag tao yung kakain. So, ngayon, pwede na using the artificial intelligence or the machine learning model, mas mapapabilis talaga yung pag-screen ng mga rice for their GI properties.
So, pag na-identify na namin yon, syempre, i-validate pa din namin para sure tayo na low glycemic index talaga.
Para ma-compare pa rin.
Para ma-compare.
At least, nakuha mo na, then i-validate mo na lang.
Sa GenBank, meron tayong around 300,000 accessions. So, 300,000 na iba't ibang lines. Imagine if you would do lab analysis for that. So, at least ito, pag meron ka lang data, mabilis lang yung phenotyping mo, pasok mo dyan sa machine learning mo, and then, ma-screen mo na sila ng mabilis.
Ano pa lang yun, yung sinasabi mo yung accessions pala, paano yung bagong yung ibig-breed pa?
Yes. So, sobrang dami nun kasi, yun nga katulad na sinabi ko, pag nag-breed ka, thousands of plants yung mapuproduce mo. So, kaya mas effective talaga na gumamit ng AI.
Wow. Since when pa kayo nag-start gumamit ng AI?
I joined here 2018. So, na-develop ko yung machine learning models last 2020 lang. So, we
Ikaw
have...
mismo, sir, gumawa?
Yes po.
Wow! Galing! Matagal? Paano mo ginawa?
A bit of programming. Well, may mga softwares naman na available. Actually, hindi naman siya ganun kahirap kasi nga meron ng mga available na software at kaya namang aralin sa through internet. Pero may programming na involved. So, una, nag-start ka sa pag-create ng model and then ititrain mo pa yung model kasi machine learning nga siya. So, tuturuan mo siya kung ano yung mga data na nilalagay mo sa kanya. And then, ayan, matatapos mo yung model by predicting high glycemic index, low glycemic index, and ultra low glycemic index.
And then yung lalabas dito, ito yung pwede nang itanim.
Yung lalabas dito, yun yung parang candidates namin na low GI sila. So siguro kung sabihin natin mga 2,000 yung na-produce na plants. So siguro by using artificial intelligence or machine learning models, ma-filter namin siguro 50 na lang. So yung 50 pwede na namin i-test sa in vitro GI
Public
para
sa inyo.
ma-validate. Yes.
And then kung ano yung na-validate doon pa lang kayo magsiselect ng babalik para
i-continue. Yes, na itanim sa ilang generations. Yes, hanggang ma-pinpoint namin kung iilan na lang na samples na low GI talaga sila. Tapos stable. So yun kasi yung
stable.
dapat
so
stable. So
let's say, Doc, yung from the 50 na confirm, na validate sa inyo, and then itatanim yon. Ilang generations yun, from ilang generations from the 50, ilan na lang matitira doon more or less?
So yun, depende rin yun actually kasi for example, pag nagtanim ka kasi may mga ibang magkakaroon ng ibang height, ganyan. Minsan magkakaroon ng early maturity sila, mabilis sila mag-mature, yung iba naman late sila mag-mature. So, depende kasi yan sa need ng farmer. So, for example, sa Philippines, usually ang tinatanim siya ng mga medium maturity or early maturity, ganyan. So, syempre, yun yung pipiliin namin para sila yung mag-proceed sa next. So, depende kung yung, dito naman sa time na to, depende naman sa need ng farmers. Kung ano yung need nila na height ng plant, ano naman yung need nila na maturity level ng plant. So, doon kami magbe-base naman. As long as yung low GI properties are intact sila doon. Yes.
So, ang mangyayari, let's say for example, may farmer na, let's say, Isabela or Cagayan, so may specific climate condition, yung elevation, yung kung gaano kadami ang tubig o gaano kakonti ang tubig, malamig o mainit, ganyan. So, ima-match doon.
Yes, doon namin siya, yun yung magiging basis namin para i-proceed yung ibang plants. So, parang ganun po yung magiging basis namin.
Grabe. Sobra. Rice lang, ang daming detalye.
Yes, sobrang dami po talaga.
Kasi hindi lang naman GI, hindi lang naman consumer yung tinitignan natin, buong value chain stakeholders. Nandiyan ang farmers, nandiyan ang millers, retailers. So titignan din natin lahat ng kailangan nila. At sa grain quality, kung grain quality lang pag-uusapan natin, iba-iba yung kailangan nila. For example, sa millers, sa farmers, ang kailangan nila ay mataas na head rice. Sa retailers, millers, sa consumers, dapat masarap. So, iba-iba. So, kailangan din i-incorporate yun.
Galing.
Pwede na tayo pumunta sa
field.
Sa field tayo. So, titignan natin, para makita na natin itsura ng isang plant, palay, kung ano naman ang itsura niya. And then, siguro, makikita rin natin yung rice na mismo.
Yung rice na mismo po dito. So, pwede po
siguro unahin na natin muna yung rice. Sige, tingnan natin yung itsura ng rice.
Saan ba?
Yung grains lang po ba? Or yung mismong luto?
Yung grains, yung mismong, yung grain, yung rice. Kung matitikman din natin yun. Meron pa tayong gano'n?
Hindi patikim yung ultra low eh. Alam ko nag-prepare si
Nag-prepare sige. Tingnan po namin kung nakapagsain.
Makita natin lahat, itsura.
Agribusiness merch is now available on Shopee and Lazada. Agribusiness, how it works. Instruct, inspire, succeed.